Hello and welcome everybody. Today I want to show you my latest build, the Nomanual Warder. This is a lightning cadence warder using the Stormreaver two-handed weapon. And yeah, it has lightning cadence as its single target main damage, and then it also has storm totems and wind devils for small additional AoE. How does this compare to a Promise Strike warder? I would say this has more single target, but like a little bit less AoE damage than a Promise Strike warder, but it also does have stronger totems than a Promise Strike warder. So I think today for this build highlight video I'm gonna do it the other way around. I'm gonna first show you the build in action and talk about the achievements that I did with this character, and then I will show you the theorycraft details, like show you the skill allocations, show you devotions and gear, because I had a couple of people telling me that they want to see a build in action first, and then they want to like decide whether or not they want to play it, and then if they decided that they want to play it, they want to see the skill allocation, etc. So yeah, please let me know in the comments which way you prefer me to do these videos. Like, would you like to see the action first, or would you like to see the theorycraft part first? Either way, I hope you enjoyed this video as much as you did the other ones. And don't forget that I always put timestamps down in the description below. So I'm gonna start this run here with a SOT run, because you can farm totals pretty nicely doing this run, and also I do want a new Ilgor medal, still missing like one of the Alkamos rings. So yeah, this is not a bad farming route for me. Also, I can tell you while doing this that this build was able to defeat Lokarr without any problems. It was also able to defeat Bourbon Clothes without any problems. I took this up to SR 51 so far. You can probably do SR 65 to 66 as well in hardcore. It might be a little bit sketchy sometimes, but it should be possible in my opinion. In a softcore, this should be a perfectly fine build for SR 75 and also for Crucible 150 to 170. I haven't tested that myself. Looking at the strength of the character right now, and like comparing to other characters, I would say that this one should be able to do Gladiator 170 and SR 75 on softcore, no problem. And on hardcore, maybe as well if you like a really good pilot as well, but I would not risk it. Gladiator 170 should be also doable in hardcore, maybe not the fastest way, but it should be doable to do. But when it comes to Shadow Realm, I will just stick to like 65 to 66 on hardcore compared to 75 to 76, because the added risk of 75 to 76 is just not worth it in hardcore in my opinion. In this video I'm gonna show you some dungeon runs here, which are also very smooth to do with this character, such as Lips of Torment, Bastion of Chaos, the Tomb of the Heretic, Morgoneth dungeon, as well as a Lokarr kill. If you would like to see this character do, for example, SR 50 to 51 and Bourbon clones, as well as some super bosses, check out the other videos on YouTube. Alright, so over here we have Ilgor. Ilgor did get a new monster frequent in the last patch, and they can be pretty nice. I would like to have a good one here. It's like one of the main reasons I started to do farm SOT again a little bit. And we got an Eternal Vigil of Blight, which is the Drain Essence medal, with a poison roll and some additional vitality damage. Oh well. Alright, is Alkamos. One thing that might be annoying for some people playing this build is that you have to stack savagery as well. Like, if you just look at savagery as a buff, such as Amaressa's Blade Burst on Nightblades, then not too bad to stack this in my opinion. I know it's maybe a little bit more annoying than Amaressa's Blade Burst, but it's still fine. Like, just press this every now and then, try to have at least 1 to 2 stacks active at every point. And whenever you do a Best of Chaos run, you want to also do the totem. There's always going to be one totem here in the interior. There's one point here, one over here, and like one here I believe. So even if you don't see it on the map, it might be like hidden in a place where you haven't been yet, that you haven't discovered yet, right? But there's always gonna be one totem here per session. Alright, so in the Bastion of Chaos, the biggest enemy of you are these obsidian spines, right? We have one here, another one here. Oh yeah, why not another one here? And one here. And one here. And another one. And one here. Oh, another one here. Alright, now we arrived at Lagothak. This guy has a monster frequent now as well. Or rather 2 medals that you can get here. You're gonna get one of the 2. This one's the Void Binding of Scorched Runes. This one might not be too bad actually. This one is Chaos, Thermite Mine and Blackwater Cocktail, right? But yeah, we have more spines to click on. Here we go. And another one. And another one. Oh, another one. And one more. And another one. And another one. And another one. And another one. At least we have a totem here. That's nice. Ooh, yeah. Ah, that's fine. Double legendary, pretty nice. Pretty nice loot. Oh yeah, another spine by the way. Okay, now here the spines actually make sense because you have a chest that you have to like fight around, right? So these actually do make sense. And another pair of spines. And another one. I mean, this one makes sense because it's like the one before the final boss. So that one does make sense as well. Never ever Word Eater. Baby Rage. And I shouldn't run Bastion of Chaos, I just get salty here, what the hell. No Word Eater, tons of spines. It does have some pretty good like random legendary loot though, because you do fight lots of elites here as well. Onto the Tomb of the Heretic, and here we already have a totem as well. Seems good. Oh, Arcane in here. Yeah, let's kill the Arcane first. You don't want to get nullified by these guys. So what kind of mods do we have here? We have Aether Warped, Time Warped, and Regenerating. All of these should be no problem whatsoever for us actually. Especially Time Warped is like pretty nice, like enemies having reduced physical damage is always good, because physical damage is always a problem on pretty much any character. Unless you have like ridiculous amounts of armor and Physras. Which, I mean, this character has good Physras and like decent Physras and armor, I should say, like 32 Physras. Yeah, 32 with savagery up at least. And like 2.9k armor, so those are like decent values. Those are pretty good, but they're not like ridiculous, right? It's not like 4k plus or 50% plus for Physras, for example. You can have better values there, but that's not too bad. Alright, let's see how we fare against these Magi's here. We have Orisa and Basti. Those should not be a problem. Did get hit by the debuff though, but our resistances are still kind of fine. Like, I'm down to 78 Chaos and 79 Pierce, but other than that, we're totally fine here. Alright, let's see if you just can stay inside here and face tank all of these guys. Should like at least disable the items though. To like kill these guys ASAP, right? It's big guns. But yeah, I mean, Shadow Guard is gonna proc, maybe Prismatic Rage is gonna proc, right? Maybe Ghoul is gonna proc as well. Yeah, he is gonna proc actually. Wait, did it not proc? I think it did. It doesn't show though. But yeah, I mean, you have lots of defense. You can just use your procs, right? Oh, we got a black heart as well, yes. And you can face tank a lot here. Like, you can only, like, you will only have to disengage and run around a bit once all of your procs are down, such as the Shadow Guard, the Prismatic Rage, as well as the Ghoul. Pay attention to your procs here, and if those are procced and they're on cooldown, then you, well, still actually have many as well to, like, save your ass, but maybe you shouldn't, like, force that too much, right? Also, over here you have this vendor, right? This guy actually does have a chance now to sell you conduit blueprints as well, so if you're searching for a conduit blueprint for whichever build you want to do, try farming this dungeon now. So conduit blueprints are basically kinda easy to get, I guess, in a way now. Like, they are at least target farmable. I know this dungeon is not very easy, it's pretty hard actually. But yeah, at least they are target farmable in a way now. Which is really nice. Conduits are awesome. I mean, you still have to get the right one, so you're gonna have to farm some blooms. Alright, here we fight against Morgoneth, the boss of this dungeon. Let's see how we fare here. You want to activate your war cry as soon as possible. Also remember that you have up to 4 defensive procs that you should, like, wait for to get procced first, like this, right, until you decide to, like, disengage. So Ghoul, Prismatic Rage, and my Shadow Guard got procced already, but we still have Minions will act, like, up in case we need it. There it is. Yeah, this guy actually takes quite a while to kill on this character. The 60% damage reduction of Morgoneth does hurt this character a lot actually. But yeah, I mean, you have the most defensive procs so that you can face tank him if you want to. I mean, I could have just, like, disengaged a little bit, like, that's no problem at all to do that as well, right? Just kite about a little bit, try to damage him with your totems only, and re-engage him whenever you see fit. So as you might have seen in the last Morgoneth fight here, I built this character rather with hardcore in mind, so I made it a little bit more defensive than offensive. And if you want to play this more offensively, for example, you can try to go for the full Lights Defender set instead of the full Shadow Guardian set here. That would be, like, a more offensive way to play this, and then you won't have more damage but, like, a little bit less tankiness. But yeah, with, like, hardcore in mind, also, like, potentially higher Shadow Realm shards in mind, I think the setup should be better. Anyways, for the Lokarr dungeon, you wanna make sure that your freeze resistance is pretty high, so that, like, at least 65% or higher, because you don't want to allow any traps here. We have 80% here, so we don't need any Hoarfrost ointments. If you do have less freeze resistance, feel free to use Hoarfrost ointments to increase your freeze resistance. Also here in this area we want to make sure to kill at least all the Rift-claimed Ethereans that we go by while we go for Lokarr, right? Because these guys, as you can see, can actually drop the Dark One set. So each guy here drops, like, 1 piece, and you wanna make sure to get 1 or 2 pieces here maybe. So fighting against Lokarr himself, you don't feel confident, or if it's your first time fighting this guy, I always suggest you to use whatever potions you have, use all the potions that you can use here to make sure you kill him and don't die. That said, I'm gonna just kill him here without any potions because this character should be strong enough. There we go. Pretty smooth, proc like Shadow Guard and Prismatic Rage there in the end, but yeah, nothing before that actually. So yeah, that's gonna be it for the action. If you wanna see more action, check out my other videos about, like, Shadow Realm, etc. If you would like to see how to build this character, stick around. Oh yeah, maybe I should also show you, like, a small dummy kill time as well, right? Let's start here at 40 seconds. Alright, so that's like 25, 26. Let's say 26 seconds, right? So before I start talking here about the skill allocation, I just want to shortly mention that for leveling, I suggest you to not level with Cadence at all. If you want to play like a Lightning Warder, such as this one as well, you should level with Lightning Promise Strike, so like you pump up your Shaman Mastery first and use Promise Strike for leveling. Use a two-hander, use Promise Strike for leveling. Wind Devil, Totem maybe, Stormcaller's Pact, and Brute Force. And also this line down here, as well as when you go Totem maybe later for like last year as well. That is the fastest way to level a Lightning Warder in my opinion, and that's how you should do it. Don't do Cadence. Alright, let's get started with the skill allocation here. So you are a soldier and a shaman, right? That makes a warder. And your main skill here is actually Cadence. Because we do use this weapon here, Stormreaver, which converts physical damage to lightning damage to Cadence. So if we max out Cadence, we 1 point Fighting Form. Fighting Form got buffed to give you like more targets at higher points, but if you don't have like enough bonuses to Fighting Form through gear, then I don't think it's like worth maxing or soft capping. So it's just a 1 pointer for now to give me like +2 targets and like some additional like % physical damage, and that's it. But then I do max out Deadly Momentum to give me that like flat internal trauma and physical damage, which will also be converted towards lightning damage through the Stormreaver weapon. Defensively, we are using Warcry. This one is still one of the best skills to reduce enemy damage. Soft capping Warcry here to 12 out of 12 points, as well as 1 point into Break Morale, just for the skill disruption. We don't need the physical resistance reduction whatsoever. Also a defensively mandatory skill is Menhir as well. This one is a 1 pointer, just to like give me some security whenever I drop below 33%. This is another circuit breaker, one of the many that this build has, as you guys will see. 10 out of 10 military conditioning, good passive, good value, 10 points, soft cap really good. You can also put 11 points if you have like some more spare points. 11 points is fine as well, 10 over 11 here. Field Command, you kind of want to max this just out. It's a really good passive, or aura rather. You want to have this at a even amount of points, for example 14 out of 12, 12 out of 12, 16 out of 12 and so on, because like the uneven points don't give you additional armor. Uneven points are only worth it if you are not interested in the armor and you just want this for more OA and DA. Squad Tactics, 12 out of 12 here for the 14% attack speed and casting speed. I mean, the attack speed is what we want here. And yes, soft cap is really good value here. Hard cap points don't really give you that many like attack speed percentages anymore per point, so it's not as effective as all the points up to the soft cap. Also, we're using 1 pointers in Decorated Soldier and Scars of Battle. I don't need more than 1 pointers here, mostly because of the setup that I'm wearing, that I'm going to talk about later. But these are pretty good, like defensive passives as well. If you want to have more stun or freeze or slow resistance or elemental or bleed, feel free to put more points here. Also I have a 1 pointer in Fighting Spirit. For damage you could like put more points here, up to the soft cap is pretty good. I would never try to overcap this. All the points up to the soft cap are good, but here in this build I just feel like I don't really have enough points to make this work. I mean, if you have like a different view of this build, you can try to shuffle around some points and soft cap this anyways. I just 1 pointed it because I think it's okay like this. Blitz, 1 pointer here, 1 pointer here, just for the like movement, and that's it basically. One thing that you can also do that I actually would recommend is that you can take out the point here in Blindside and put it over here in Zolhan's technique instead. Just like a 1 pointer, 15% chance to proc this. Not too bad, not amazing either, but I mean this one is not amazing anyway, so yeah, just like putting the point here into Zolhan's instead, it's probably a little bit better. Moving on to Shaman. Now Shaman is one of the best classes for lightning damage, and especially for two-handed lightning damage. So we are maxing out Brute Force. This one does give us lots of HP and lightning damage. We have Feral Hunger. Note that Feral Hunger does not proc with the Cadence hit, like the third Cadence hit, but it will proc with the first and second hit that you do prior to the actual Cadence hit, and it will also proc whenever you use Savagery in between. This one is just put to 8 out of 10, I think that's like 1 or 2 points only, to get this to 8 out of 10, to just get this to like 25% chance to be used, because it is a nice additional way of healing. Upheaval, same thing here, just a 1 pointer, can proc off crits. Yeah, I mean the build is not really focused around it, so I'm just using it as a 1 pointer and that's it. The Savagery line, now people might be a little bit confused here why using Savagery and Cadence at the same time. Well, I'm mostly using Savagery because of Tenacity of the Boar. You can push this up to 21 points here in this build, which gives us a ridiculous amount of OA, DA and also slow resistance. And also Storm Touch does give us 9% attack speed here. And also, Might of the Bear does give us 8% physical resistance when you're using a two-hander, which we are here. Savagery is just used as a buff basically, and should be pressed every now and then to have at least one stack active at all times. Kinda similar to how you would use Amaressa's Blade Burst on a Dervish, for example, or like almost any Nightblade. Moving on, we also have Morgoneth's Pact as a 1-pointer here. Actually only a 1-pointer into Heart of the Wild and then like 10 points into Oakskin. You can also soft cap this. Heart of the Wild is really good at soft cap as well. I just already have enough HP at like 21.5k as you can see, and I didn't feel like I need more HP, so I just left it here as a 1-pointer. When Legal Totem, I put this to 12 out of 12 because 12 out of 12 does give me 5% HP heal per tick as well as 560 flat. And since I have a ridiculous amount of HP, 5% of that is pretty good actually. I also have Blood Pact to 8 out of 12. I think this is actually 2 points because of like, I think 7 out of 12 gives you like 6% lifesteal, and then I like put one additional point here to give me 7% lifesteal instead. We don't care about the vitality bleeding damage whatsoever, but like putting 1 or 2 points here to just get like 7% additional lifesteal is really good value as well. Now basically our secondary main ability is the Storm Totem actually. This build is able to put down up to 4 Storm Totems because of the way the Stormreaver works, right? This one will give you 2 seconds CDR to Storm Totem as well as +1 summon limit to Storm Totem. And because of that, I'm just basically using Storm Totem as my secondary damage source here, basically like my AoE damage. I guess you could also put this down to like a 1-pointer only and try to put the points somewhere else, such as in fighting form maybe or somewhere else. For me personally, I like this more, but there are other ways to handle this for sure. Wind Devil, this is just for the resistance reduction, like you put 1 point here, you soft cap this for 35% elemental resistance reduction. Then I just put a 1-pointer here into Maelstrom because like 1 point for 7 points, like 5.8k electrocute damage, just not bad. It's like some additional damage that will like stack up. Also talking about the Stormreaver is actually another reason why you should use Savagery, because this does add some flat electrocute damage to Savagery as well. And since this is electrocute damage, it makes using Savagery every now and then, just like this build will do, even better than like using it all the time, for example. And last but not least, we have our exclusive skill, Stormcaller's Pact. This one can actually be maxed out to the hard cap here on this build, which is really awesome. And this gives us lots of crit damage, lots of percent lightning damage, lots of electrocute damage, and also 50% stun resistance reduction, which we don't kinda need because of the set that we are using, but it would be pretty good if we did not use that set, and I mean the build is playable without the set. Moving on to the devotions, you might be a little bit confused that I'm actually not using ultas here, but I do use Viper instead, and for tier 3s I'm using Spear as well as Korvac. Now why am I using Spear? Well, I do like Spear more overall on melee characters. I prefer ultas on ranged or casters. Now you could also go for ultas and Spear, but ultas' resistance reduction does not stack with Viper's resistance reduction, and since we're using lots of weapon damage here, like more than 100% at least, Viper's resistance reduction will have the same effectiveness as ultas as well, so ultas is not really needed for the resistance reduction. And when it comes to the proc and like the debuffs that it has, I compared it to Korvac, and I actually think I prefer Korvac here, because you can actually see this one is not even maxed out yet, but at like the max it will give you like 130 OA and DA reduction. And if you take a look at the Warder class, Shaman does not provide you any like flat DA or OA reduction, and Soldier only has flat DA reduction here in Blindside. Basically we can use Korvac at full effectiveness, so you can Petrify, Trash for this, which is really helpful actually, for example in SR or in Crucible, and you will reduce their OA and DA by up to 130, which is really good. Now other mandatory devotions, obviously Arcane Bomb, the Widow devotion is mandatory here, as well as Kraken for 2-handers, and since we are using heavy weapon damage, Ghoul is also mandatory. I took Spider for the attack speed, then I actually went for Round's Crown here in this case, because Round's Crown does still give you the most resistance reduction, like flat resistance reduction out of all the devotions. This one 32. You could alternatively use Revenant, for example. This one will reduce up to 24 and also give you like 4% additional attack speed here, as well as 6% more lifesteal. So Revenant is another option that you could go for. I just wanted to like experiment with Elemental Storm again after the last nerf to Revenant, and I think it's pretty good here. I can't really say which one is better here in this case, because I did actually not try Revenant yet on this character. But maybe you should try Revenant and give me some feedback on that. And the remaining devotions like Jackal, Sailor's Guide, Eel, well, those are kind of fillers. I mean, this one is for total speed as well, but yeah, most of these are fillers. Alright, so here in Grim Tools, I'm gonna show you how to do these devotions. So you're probably gonna level as a two-handed shaman, right? So you want to get to the Kraken devotion as well as the Widow devotion as soon as possible. You will see that both of these need greens as well as blues. So you could, for example, start out with getting the Eel for movement speed, and then also get the Spider for the attack speed. And then after these two, you just get the Kraken and then the Widow Devotion. And then you bind this to, for example, Promise Strike, right? For endgame, I did use this on Blitz actually, to have it like proc whenever I engage an enemy. Next after this, I suggest you to get Ghoul. You can get Ghoul also like right after Kraken, before Widow, if you want to have some more defenses and lifesteal earlier. Now next I suggest you to make your way to the Rowan's Crown. So for that you want to get the Quill Devotion first, as well as one purple point here, and then you get the Rowan's Crown. You take all the points here, put those to, for example, Wind Devil, or like whichever ability you're using while leveling, right? And then you can retrieve these 2 points, the green and the purple here. You're not gonna need these anymore. And now you can choose Jackal and Viper, because you do need 7 reds and 20 blue for Spear of the Heavens, right? So you also need to get Sailor's Guide, and then you can use Spear, as well as the Korvac Devotion. And there you go. Alright, let's also quickly talk about the gear. Obviously, the core of this build is the Stormreaver, and actually the Stormreaver is like the only thing that you need to enable this build, right? You need the Stormreaver. It is a craftable weapon. If you find the blueprint for this as well, you can just craft this. It has all the things I told you about before, right? The cadence stuff, etc, etc. So this is like the mandatory weapon. And now you have, like, basically everything else is kind of non-mandatory. But for example, you could choose for rings either Kel'Thuzad Zoth or the Storm Witch. Both are really good. You can use as a set, for example, the SR set. It is really, really good. Kind of defensive. You can also use Light's Defender as a full set, not only the gloves here. Or maybe just like be creative with some greens and Ravager Helm and stuff like that, you know. For boots, I'm using Boots of Primordial Rage to give me +2 cadence as well as elemental damage. For metal, I'm using Mark of the Dreadblade, which also gives me +2 cadence and total speed. For the pants, I have these Stalwart Chupacabras Choices of Fallen Skies, which give me +3 to Deadly Momentum, as well as +3 to Tenacity of the Boar. I mean, obviously not everybody will have access to this, but you can use anything here. I know Barbaros pants can work, just like blue leg plates of Valor can work as well, right? There are lots of alternatives to this one. For the belt, Mythical Storm Shepherd, +1 Shaman, Aether to Lightning conversion, helping you out with the Aether damage on the spear, as well as some attack speed. Really, really good. Probably, yeah, like the uncontested best belt here. I have the Storm as a relic, +1 Shaman, attack speed, lightning damage, and even more lightning damage on the aura. Really strong, really offensive. If you want a more defensive relic, you could also always go for like Serenity, for example. But I think Eye of the Storm is just too good not to use it here. And ideally, you also get a little bit more luck with your completion bonus. I got Ground Slam and Storm Surge. I'm not using either of those abilities, so that's basically useless for me. By the way, that's like relic crafting, right? Like relic crafting RNG is just ridiculous, and you should never ever plan around that. And this is gonna be it for my build highlight video about the Stormreaver Warder. I hope you guys enjoyed it a lot. And I do want to give a shout out to Nomanual here. He's one of the most awesome people I've ever met online, like especially like in the Grim Dawn community and Malagant's chat. And yeah, I did theorycraft this character in a very similar way together with him like 1.5 years ago, like in patch 1.0.7, when they changed Stormreaver to become like a cadence weapon as well. Back then, after theorycrafting, Nomanual played it with the Light's Defender set, which was a really good offensive version as well. So this is basically the build 2.0 with the SR set instead. And yeah, I just wanted to like dedicate this build to him and thank him so much for like being such an awesome guy and all the good time we had together playing this game and other games. If you guys would like to see more about this character, check out the other videos about this character, and hopefully I will also like be able to kill some super bosses in the future with this guy. Hope I can see you on the next one. See you around.